Welcome to A Student of Leadership, a micro-podcast where leaders are made one habit at a time. Hosted by Rob Adams, a leadership veteran with 30 years of experience, this podcast explores key concepts that define exceptional leadership. Each episode delves into a powerful word or strategy, offering practical insights and real-world stories. Whether you're just starting out or an experienced executive, join Rob as he guides you in learning, growing, and leading with purpose.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to A Student of Leadership powered by Unipro Food Service and our Leadership Development Program. This is a micro podcast, and I'm Robert Adams, your host, and we are landing on episode 53. Today, we're talking about the invisible ceiling. This is about the limits leaders don't see because they've helped build them. Let me start out with something that shows up quietly in leadership. Most limits don't arrive as fear. They arrive as logic. In fact, I've always done it this way. This is what works here. I don't have time for that right now. Those sound responsible. They sound experienced. And over time, they become ceilings. And that's why today I'm asking you to pull up a chair, sit with me, because you are at the leadership table. Food brings people together. Leadership keeps them together. Real leaders, real growth, one table. One of the clearest verifiable examples of breaking through invisible ceilings comes from the United States Army and their long-standing use of what's called an after-action review, or AAR. For many years, many units struggled with a familiar leadership pattern. Leaders felt pressure to look decisive. Mistakes were explained away. Feedback flowed downward and not in the opposite direction, upward. Performance stalled. So what did they do? They created a formalized, different behavior. After every mission, good or bad, teams paused and asked 3 questions. What was supposed to happen? What actually happened? And what will we do differently next time? Rank didn't matter in those moments. Titles were paused. Learning took the highest priority. One officer later reflected that the hardest part wasn't admitting mistakes. It was realizing how many assumptions they had stopped questioning simply because they felt experienced. Now that's the invisible ceiling, everyone. Here's a contrast I've noticed over time. Leaders who break ceilings ask better questions. Leaders who stay stuck give better explanations. I call this the experience trap, when past success feels like proof instead of data. Let that sit for a moment. Behaviorally, this makes sense. Our brains crave efficiency. Once something works, what do? We repeat it. Repetition slowly turns into identity. I'm the problem solver. I'm the steady hand. I'm the one who keeps things moving. Those identities just feel safe until they limit how others grow and how we lead. This is where many leaders slide from leading into managing without even realizing it. Yep, that's right. They check the boxes. They keep things running, but they stop creating space for trust, belief, and, more importantly, growth. So here are a few questions to sit with you today. What leadership story do you tell yourself about why something can't change right now? Which habits once made you effective but might now be holding others back? And if today someone followed you for a week, what would they say you reward more? Curiosity or certainty? Now, try this once, just this week. Just one time is all I'm asking you to do. In your next team conversation, pause before you explain. I just want you to ask one question instead. What do you see that I might be missing? Then listen without judgment or correcting. That single behavior cracks ceilings faster than any strategy ever will. And as always, if this episode resonates with you, you're not alone. That's why this is exactly why we gather at the leadership table. It's a community where we all learn together, staying curious, always on a journey of growth and development. Because you see, food gave us roots, leadership gives us purpose. Real leaders, real growth, one table. Before we close this micro episode, here's how we stay connected throughout the week. On Mondays, the leadership table lands on Beehive, where we explore the stories leaders tell themselves and how those stories quietly shape behavior. On Wednesdays, the Breaking Bread, a Student of Leadership newsletter, shows up on LinkedIn, where we talk about trust in real moments, especially early when credibility is fragile. And on Fridays, the Mindful Leader arrives on Substack, offering a quieter reflection on the difference between managing tasks and changing lives. All different spaces, everybody, but one leadership journey. Now, next time, we're going to talk about how leaders earn trust faster, not through speeches or credentials, but through what they do in their very first week. I'm Robert Adams, your micro podcast host. And until next time, I will see you at the leadership table. Take care, everybody.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of The Student of Leadership. Leadership is about who we become and how we help others grow. If you found value in this podcast, share it with a fellow leader and connect with Rob on LinkedIn or leave a review. New episodes drop weekly, so don't forget to subscribe to stay connected. Until next time, keep learning, growing, and leading with intention. Remember, great leaders are made one habit at a time. See you next time on A Student of Leadership.